the most important items that we need to utilize within any type of document in order to make it accessible are headings. Headings provide structure to a document. They absolutely improve and create accessibility because people using screen readers are able to understand different sections of a document. It also enables you as the author to create an automatic table of contents from your headings, and that can make reorganizing the document much easier. So there are some things that we want to pay attention to. A heading 1, we are only going to use one of these per document. So it's usually going to be the title of whatever the document is, like syllabus, rubric, something like that. There is a reason we only utilize heading 1 per document. It gets a little complicated, so for right now, let's just use that as a rule of thumb. Any major sections within the document are then going to utilize a heading 2. This level, again, is for those major subsections. So if it were a syllabus, perhaps we would be using a heading 2 for our grading policy, for the table of assignments. Anything that is important that is going to fall beneath that heading 2, so if it is that syllabus and we're using a heading 2 for our grading, and that would include our grading scale, it would include whether we're going to do extra credit or not, how much each assignment is worth. Those things would be a heading 3 because they are subsections of a heading 2. Now, anytime you want to go further and do subsections of a heading 3, they would be a heading 4, so on and so forth, all the way to heading 6. Your body or paragraphs, they're going to be under a format called normal. We're going to find all of these up here, of course, in the ribbon. There are ways where you can create what your style of heading looks like, which we will get to. But I have an article here as an example. So this article needs headings. So the way that we know that it doesn't have any is if we click here on the title of the article and we look in the section of where the headers are, this is listed as normal, which we want to use as our paragraph or our body sections. So instead, what we want to do, since this is the title of our article, is we need to make this a heading 1. And again, we only utilize one heading 1 per document. So if I click this drop down and I roll over this one, you can see in the little bubble that opens that this is the heading 1. So that's the one I'm going to click on. We want to make sure that this is a sans serif font and that it's large enough, it's in bold, all of these things. You may also notice as I'm moving the cursor that this little arrow pops up that indicates that a heading is being used. So for this, we are just going to use the normal text, and maybe we want to increase the font a bit or italicize it or something. So down here in the body, we are utilizing Laura font, and this is our normal text. However, this is a serif font. So we don't want to use that. So I am actually going to highlight all of the text and I am going to click on normal. You'll notice that because the style is set to Calibri 12, the font changed. So now we are utilizing a sans serif font. So if this is our heading 1 and this is the title of our document, there is within the article a heading that I inserted for the purposes of this video. So if we want to break up the article, there is another section that's going to talk about recipes in manuscripts. So this is where, because it is a subsection of the title, we're going to come up here and use a heading 2. It would be incorrect to use a heading 3 because you cannot skip levels. The use of headings has to go in chronological order from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You cannot skip any. So here is another one that I inserted, and it's another section 2. So we're going to use a heading 2 because it's another section of the article, but it's not a subsection of recipes. It's a breakout from underneath the title.